Hi everybody, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video, and I'm going to be showcasing the brand new Simon Says Stamp Rainbow is My Favorite Color card kit for June of 2021. Inside this kit are so many colorful and bright happy products that you can use to make adorable rainbow themed cards. I'm going to be making 4 cards today, but I'll be sharing 3 different techniques and ways that you can create some rainbow themed cards for your crafty friends or family. We're going to be focusing on mostly the products that are included in the kit, and I'm going to show you how you can pair these all up together to create some really cool cards. So inside the kit is one of my favorite pieces, and this is the Holographic Rainbows cardstock. I just love this cardstock because it's so beautiful and it's such a gorgeous palette of rainbow colors. I'm going to be using the Hello Rainbow die that's included in the kit, and I'm going to cut this from the Holographic Rainbows cardstock 4 times. I'm going to be creating a series of colorful rainbows that are going to form the rainbow palette across my slimline card. So when the rainbow die cuts out your paper, you're going to get these really nice score lines included on top of your die cut piece. And I really like that texture. This pairs up really nicely with the colors from the Holographic Rainbows cardstock, and I can arrange a total of 4 of these across my slimline sized card. My plan is to pop these up with foam tape so that they have a little bit of dimension off of my card. And I'll just carefully lay these down on top of my card before pressing them firmly onto the cardstock. So that way I have a little bit of wiggle room and I can make sure that they're perfectly lined up and even across my card before committing to the final placement. This is a really fun and simple card to make. You could make a bunch of these really quickly and easily. This card didn't take much time at all. Also included in the kit are the Chasing Rainbows Sprinkles Pack from Doodlebug. There's quite a few Doodlebug products included in this kit, and I just love these puffy white enamel clouds that you can put down on top of your rainbows that you create with this kit. So I'm going to arrange a few of these over top of the rainbows, tucked here and there, along with some fairy jewels. Fairy jewels are beautiful little gems that have adhesive already on the back side of them, so it makes it really easy to just stick them down onto your card project. I mixed these around my card, forming a rainbow of colors that follow the same colors that are in each rainbow as you go up or down the card. Now, of course, with this rainbow themed card, we need a rainbow themed sentiment. There are quite a few great sentiments included in the stamp set that's part of this kit. I'm going to be using one of the sentiments here and stamping it onto black cardstock with embossing ink. Then I'll take my white embossing powder and sprinkle that over top of the sentiment so that I can get a really nice, beautiful, crisp white greeting on top of my black cardstock. I did prep the surface of my cardstock with a powder tool to make sure that the embossing powder only stuck to the inked areas of my sentiment and not any other areas of the cardstock. I'll trim that sentiment out and then use 2 layers of foam tape to pop this up off of my card. And I tucked that along one of the rainbows there. This is a really quick and easy card. I love how it turned out, and those rainbows just look amazing, die cut from the Holographic Rainbows cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. Now that cardstock is not only included in the kit, but you can also purchase it separately, and I already have a whole bunch of it in my stash because I love this cardstock and I'm going to be using it like crazy. Now, speaking of that Holographic Rainbows cardstock, it's great for not just die cutting, but you could also use it to create beautiful borders like I did on this card. Let's start first by creating the rainbow. I have the Build a Rainbow stencil, which is one of the items that's included in the kit. I'm also using 4 of the mini ink cubes that you get in the kit, which are Hot Lips, Sunshine, Jelly Bean, and Audrey Blue. I'm blending those 4 colors through the stencil because there actually are 4 rainbow stripes in this particular Build a Rainbow stencil. And I'm using the Simon Says Stamp finger blending brushes to blend these colors onto the different stripes. Because we're trying to build something here on this Build a Rainbow stencil, it's really helpful to have small blending brushes like these because it allows you to get into the really small areas and keep control of where your ink is going, and you don't have to worry about masking to avoid getting ink in other areas. It's a really helpful tool, and I really like these. They also stack together really nicely, which I think is also helpful, so that way they're not rolling around on your desk. So I keep them tucked together, and then I put them into the container that they actually came with as my way of storing them when I'm not using them. So I'm going to blend all 4 colors to create a really cute and colorful little rainbow. My final color is Audrey Blue, and I'll finish that up. And then the next step is to add some clouds. There are clouds, a sun rays, and other elements that you can use to build some really cool scenes. So we're going to use quite a few of those pieces right now. First up, we're going to use the little puffy clouds that are included, and I'm going to apply some paste. This is Tim Holtz texture paste through that cloud stencil area. I'm going to apply this fairly thick because I want it to be a nice puffy cloud, and I want to add some texture, so I'm not going to make it super smooth. And I'm going to remove the stencil and shift it over to the other side of the rainbow. Now, yes, I know the paste is still wet on the other side where we just applied it, but I'm very careful here, and I'm going to apply that stencil back down. I'm not going to press it too hard because I don't want to smush the paste that's on the left that we just applied to the bottom of the other end of the rainbow. So I'm going to carefully apply another layer of paste through the stencil on the other side, and then I will carefully lift it up to reveal I have both clouds. Now, if you do have any areas that look a little funny from having that stencil laying on top of your other cloud, just bring your palette knife back in and add more texture. It really hides any little imperfections that might have been created from laying the stencil on top. What this did, however, is save me a lot of time in having to wait for the paste to dry on one cloud before adding another. So that was a little trick I wanted to share. While the paste was still wet, I did apply a little bit of glitter on top using the Simon Says Stamp Unicorn Dust and Unicorn Confetti glitters. I will tap off any extra to make sure that there's none hanging around that's going to end up falling on other areas of my desk later on, and I'll move on to letting that dry. Once it dried, which took quite a few hours because I did apply a good amount of paste, I'm going to bring in that cloud border on the Build a Rainbow stencil. And I'm going to build some cloud borders around the edges of my card. Now this is creating a really cool frame around the rainbow. I'm very carefully adding just a small amount of ink. I don't want this to be too heavy of an application, and I don't want it to go too far into my card because I really want to create just a halo of clouds. I'm using the Tonic Studios Crafters Magnetic Platform. This is a really helpful tool because it has a really great magnetic surface. I can hold my paper down and my stencil at the same time while I'm working, and this surface cleans up really, really easily. So any ink that I get on my surface here, I can easily wipe up with a damp towel or baby wipe. I'm going to finish up the other 2 bottom corners of my card here, and then you'll see we have this great, beautiful cloud border that frames up our rainbow. Now we're ready to turn this into a finished card. Like I said, the sentiments in the Rainbow is My Favorite Color stamp set that's part of this kit, they're so great. And I really love how they have this really nice large font. I'm going to use one of those to go ahead and create a greeting on this card. I stamped it with embossing ink and used my white embossing powder to create a really nice beautiful sentiment, which I then fussy cut out and glued along the bottom portion of the clouds. Like I used on the first card, I have more of those fairy jewels that I wanted to make sure to include on this card, and I love how these add just enough sparkle around the edges to finish up the entire card and also accent the glitter that's in the clouds. Remember that holographic rainbows cardstock and how I was telling you that it looks great as borders too? Well, I had this scrap left over from creating those little rainbows that I used on the first card. I glued my rainbow panel on top of that scrap and cut it down so it has a really nice thin border around my panel, and then I can glue this onto a surf blue card base from Simon Says Stamp. This finishes up this card, and I love how colorful this is. This Build a Rainbow stencil is super fun and allows you to make customized rainbow patterns on your card. All right, we're going to continue using that Build a Rainbow stencil, and this time we're going to make some sun cards. Now, I love being able to add some really bright and happy colors to my cards, so I thought I would make some rainbow cloud borders. And then I also really love the fact that there's a yellow pom-pom included in this Rainbow is My Favorite Color card kit. So I used that pom-pom to create the sun on one of these cards. I actually made 2 of them because I wanted to show you that there's 2 ways that you could finish off the sun on this card, and I thought the pom-pom was a really unique one. So let's work on building the cloud border first. I have that Build a Rainbow stencil here, and I'm going to start blending on some colors of ink. I'm using the same colors that are included in the kit, which of course are Audrey Blue, Jelly Bean, Sunshine, and Hot Lips, and I'm blending those in that order from the bottom of my card up to the top. I am using the domed blending foams that are included in the kit as well. You get a whole pack of these, which are the Tim Holtz and Ranger domed blending foams. So I attached a few of those onto my blending tools, and this is what I'm using to blend these beautiful colors of ink across my card base. This card panel happens to be a 120-pound white cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and it's the exact same cardstock that I used for all of the other cards in today's video. I'm finishing things up with that beautiful Hot Lips color along the top portion of this panel, and I'll trim this down so it's slightly smaller than an A2 card. Alright, so now that we have all the clouds created, we need to work on building our sun. There's a little sun ray that's included in the Build a Rainbow stencil, and this time I'm going to use a finger blending brush to add on ink for the sun ray. So like I mentioned earlier, having those finger blending brushes in your crafty stash is so helpful. In this particular case, I wanted to maintain control as I was blending on these sun rays for my card. Because the sun rays finish off with a hard line, I wanted to make sure to maintain a soft edge by fading out towards the end of that sun ray. That would have been a lot harder to do if I had used a larger blending tool, but these brushes make it so easy because I can really keep a fine detailed touch as I'm blending. Now I want to embellish this sun with a bit of glitter, so I am going to need some sort of adhesive that's going to dry clear and will provide a nice adhesive to hold down some glitter. In this case, I chose Tim Holtz Texture Paste, which is the transparent gloss. This is going to dry clear and also glossy, so it's going to match up really nicely with my card, and it's going to make this sun ray look really spectacular. I'm sprinkling on some unicorn confetti glitter from Simon Says Stamp. I'm actually using my fingers to keep a sporadic and light touch to the glitter. I don't want this to be a heavy amount of glitter on top of my project. And then we're going to finish off this sun. Now, like I said, there's two ways you can do this. One is to die cut a circle from the Holographic Rainbows cardstock, which is what I did here. I actually die cut it twice because I wasn't sure what size sun I wanted to create. And in the end, I will end up using that larger circle that you see in the top left corner. The other way is to use one of the pom-poms that's included in the kit. There's this giant yellow pom-pom in the kit, and I love it. It's so adorable. I thought that would be a perfect sun for this card. So I glued that down with some Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky Glue to just adhere that on top of the sun rays, and it looks awesome. Otherwise, these two cards are exactly the same. The only difference is the way I finished off the sun. Here's where I decided I needed a bigger sun, so I chose that larger circle and I glued that down with just a little bit of adhesive. Very simple cards, but so colorful and happy. I love the sun rays on here and the glitter that they have. It makes them sparkle and shine just like the sun does. And of course, those rainbow clouds just get me. I love them. So I have made 4 cards with this kit, 3 different techniques, and I hope you enjoyed it. This card kit from Simon Says Stamp, which is Rainbow is my favorite color, truly has the perfect name because I don't know about you, but rainbow is definitely my second favorite color. Teal is my favorite. I love teal, and I always will have that one as my top #1 color, but rainbow is definitely right up there too. I had a lot of fun making cards with this kit, and I hope you enjoyed. If you are interested in purchasing the kit or any of the products that I used today in these cards, you can find links to all of that down in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can also see all of that in detail on my blog. I have a full link list, as well as pictures of the finished cards. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I would love to have you be part of my crafty adventures. I also have 2 videos on screen that you might want to check out for additional ideas, and I'll be back soon with more inspiration for you. Until next time, I hope you all have a very colorful and happy day. Bye!